Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 231 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Joshua rejoined alongside Nathan Durk, as per usual, talking all things football. And we've got a lot to discuss on this week's show, especially regarding the Vancouver Whitecaps. But we'll start with the on pitch stuff first, with the Whitecaps having a game down in Carson against the LA Galaxy. A chippy game, a lot of tactical yellow cards, and Whitecaps were down, but they ended up getting a point.
Yeah, Whitecaps had the majority of possession. They looked like they had the pace of play for large swaths, but I would say a point is fair in this game.
Yep.
It was a good fight back, which was nice to see against a very difficult LA Galaxy. Once they had that point, they kind of parked the bus very, very early in the second half, and they didn't really open up until they were forced to when the Whitecaps got their first goal.
Yeah. LA Galaxy team, Jesper Sorensen said in his post-match presser that they're better than their points show. They're very dangerous on the transition, especially with Peck and Joseph Painstill. And it was Painstill who got the Galaxy goal after Takoka makes a mistake, gives the ball away, and then Painstill finishes it. Just a good finish, good press by Painstill, but given Takoka's skill set, he's got to be better than that.
Yeah, it was a very poor giveaway. And the thing is, you have to allow for allowances like that. No individual is perfect. And when you have a goalkeeper that plays with his feet as much as Takioka, every random game, there's going to be one. And if he manages it, that only happens once every, 10 games? I mean, that's not a bad record. Obviously, it's something he needs to be a little bit more aware of, especially when you're against guys that, they're pressing anyone you're trying to put the pass to. Sometimes you just need to put the ball deep.
Yeah, and Takaoka's done this a lot this season where he, plays with fire with the ball.
But he's managed to do it.
Yeah, but not this time, I guess.
No.
No one's perfect. Obviously, he knows that. Everybody else knows that. But good on the Whitecaps for responding, because in that first half, there wasn't enough high danger chances, though JT Markinghamski absolutely robbed Emmanuel Sabi that first half. But other than that, nothing really too much there. But Whitecaps kept pushing and pushing. The goal came off a set piece. Sebastian Berhalter with the delivery, and Matthias Laborda back post again. All he needed to do was just nudge it in and tie the game.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I saw a stat somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, but I think Laborda, as far as defenders go, is now tied for goal creations in the league this season.
It is true, yeah. And then Laborda is second all time among Whitecaps defenders in goals, behind Kendall Waston.
Yeah, and I mean, well deserved. This is a guy that, for a center back, you can have a serious expectation of 6 odd goals a year, which is not a bad return, especially for something that you're not really expecting it. I don't even know how many he has this season already. What, 3? Something like that?
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. Game really, really opened up after that goal. You felt like the Whitecaps could have had another one there. They were playing for large points. When Galaxy made their first switch, they kind of switched their formation, packing the midfield with a line of almost 5 across, a 3 back line, but that 5 across in the midfield cut into that back line so often that you basically had all but 2 players packing the 18-yard box every time that they were defending, which is why the Whitecaps had so much possession, but not necessarily the quality chances until the game was able to open up.
Yeah, because Galaxy were really sitting back, and just allowing themselves to go on the transitions, which it did work for them. And should also mention that Jeevan Badwal started the game as the 10, ended it in the midfield. Thought he did a solid job because Thomas Muller came down with an illness before the game. And Jesper Sorensen said that trust Jeevan Badwal in the 10 and in the midfield, and his game has improved. And off the bench, nice to see Kenji Cabrera in the 10, providing overloads with Bruno Caicedo as well.
It's Kenji Cabrera who I would like to talk to. He got a decent run out in this match, and after the game, I was invited on to Global radio to speak with Asa Raymond and Colin Miller for a few minutes. Yeah. And I was really, really impressed. And the person I wanted to talk to was Kenji Cabrera. Finally seeing him as that number 10 and not playing on, usually on the left wing where we have seen him. He is an intelligent player, and you can really see the influence of Thomas Muller coming in, because when you watch Cabrera, it's what he's doing when he doesn't have the ball, providing those overloads, drawing defenders to him to allow space, especially on the left side when we were talking about Caicedo or Johnson at those times, and just being that kind of outlet pass to get out of the edges, allow Caicedo to run and put it quickly back in, or to turn around and look to switch the play. I thought it showed the quality he has. Yes, he is still young, but he is getting to learn under some of the best in that position that have played the game. And I can't wait to see when we get to see more of him.
Yeah, and who better than to have a perfect mentor than Thomas Muller? Like,
pay attention to when he doesn't have the ball, because that's where that's where Cabrera was really shining. We already know what he can do with the ball. He is fairly he's technical, he's tricky, he can get around players. He's actually decent 1v1s, but without the ball, man, he's starting to shine.
Yeah. And I hope to see more of him and Bruno Caicedo down the left wing. Had a couple good chances himself where he just took on defenders, but the shots obviously were stopped by JT Markinkowski. Should also mention that Jacob Glesnes, a big reason why the game ended up being a draw, because he was all over Brian White, all over Sabali, and Caicedo as well. My player of the match in that game. There's a reason why he's a former MLS Defender of the Year.
You know what? I don't know if I would say man of the match, but yeah, I agree that he is definitely worthy of that accolade. Phenomenal defensive performance. Yeah, I mentioned him a few times too. That without him, the Whitecaps would have had this game easily handled much earlier. Overall, for the first road game, it was okay. There was a little bit of that spanner thrown in the works where, the last minute switch of Muller coming out of the lineup, Badwal being told you're now playing a different position so we can put in Sabi. It takes a little bit, especially when you've kind of, trained, to play a certain way, and then all of a sudden you have to kind of switch it up. Muller, we're not too sure if he is going to be ready for this weekend. It sounded like Sorensen was actually targeting Wednesday for him. So we'll have to wait and see how he's feeling.
Yeah, we'll see how he's feeling.
Yeah. But as far as a first road performance, it was okay. The big test will be this weekend.
Yeah, this is a heavyweight tilt. First versus second in the Western Conference. Two teams going at it for the Supporters' Shield. The Whitecaps will be down in San Jose to take on the Earthquakes. Obviously, the last time these two teams met was back in March, where the Earthquakes beat the Whitecaps 1-0 at BC Place, thanks to very good defensive performance by the Earthquakes. And that's another thing to take away from that game is San Jose's low block. The Whitecaps need to figure out how to penetrate it and find a way to, just prevent another solid defensive performance and just find that space.
It's a Bruce Arena side. It's well organized. They have creative players going up front. Timo Werner looked like a man reimagined.
Preston Judd is
leaving goals too. Yeah,
that's someone to look out for. And then Danielle, their goalkeeper, who was phenomenal back in March at BC Place.
Yeah. I think a lot of Whitecaps had this match circled on their calendar just because this was the one that they had lost. And it was only a 1-0 loss, if I remember correctly. And Daniel was that man of the match. It was a match that you felt the Whitecaps, even a draw would have been more fair, just with kind of the state of play at the time. But yeah, Daniel was the game changer. He was the story.
Yeah, and the Earthquakes drew 1-1 to Toronto. Preston Judd with a goal in that game. But yeah, Bruce Arena has really rejuvenated this team. They're not a bottom feeder team anymore. This is a team that looks like a contender with Werner and Judd leading the way. They look better defensively than previous years. And someone like Bolaroo and Sakaris in the midfield both have been solid players for the Quakes this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Whitecaps Earthquakes this Saturday from PayPal Park, 7:30 Pacific on Apple TV. Whitecaps will, if they win this game, they tie San Jose on points for first in the Western Conference, but Whitecaps have a goal differential by just one. 20 for the Whitecaps, 19 for San Jose.
One interesting stat to note, out of the 18 times these two teams have met in San Jose has only lost 2 of those.
Yeah. Dignity Health Sports Sporting Goods Park was a tough play for the Whitecaps because they've only won there like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, PayPal Park hasn't been kind to the Whitecaps either.
Yeah.
All right. The big story, the off-pitch stuff with the Whitecaps, as their future is still uncertain, especially last week when a purported bid from a group led by Grant Gustafson, who is the son of the CEO of the public storage company.
Is she the CEO? I know she's a shareholder, but is she a CEO?
I think she is like either one of those, but she is
I think she has an 11% share.
Yeah,
it was the grandfather that started the whole thing, and it's grown to
her
be
father
crazy.
Founder. So he is part of the dynasty of the whole public storage, stuff, Nepo baby and all that.
Regardless, the mother, Tamara, I believe her name is. I want to get that right. Her reported net worth is about 8.5 and change billion American. So there's money.
Yeah, her son is the one that is leading the group. He's about 30 years old.
Yeah.
And of course, that put a lot of panic into Whitecaps fans because the group, based out of Kentucky, wanted to move the Whitecaps to Las Vegas. So yesterday, Nathan and I we got a chance to speak to Axel Schuster about this and among other stuff. And he pretty much, acknowledged the Vegas bid. Hasn't spoken to the Gustafsons. And I asked him, does this add more pressure? And he said, yes, it does. And he, pretty much said it's not a wake-up call, but it's a sign that they really need to find solutions. The word I'm looking for is a fire underneath the butt.
Very much so. I mean, you got to think ever since the club went for sale in December of 2024, Whitecaps had just finished their 50th year anniversary season. Everything was looking rosy. You get this news, but then you go right into coaching change, brand new, and then all of a sudden the team's doing well and everything. It was always there in the back of everyone's minds, but the sense of urgency wasn't there. 18 or whatever months in, now the sense of urgency is here. Something maybe we should have been feeling with a little bit more of that urgency a little bit earlier. There's a lot of question marks about this Vegas bid. Number one, this bid is not tied in any way whatsoever to the Star Project that was announced in Vegas earlier.
Sportico and
the Star Project is the one where they're looking at building on the south side of the Strip a 50,000 seat soccer specific stadium and another 25,000 seat NBA ready stadium. That is completely separate. Those guys haven't talked to MLS at all. So the thing with this Gustafson bid is they have no stadium.
Yep.
They have no land.
Yep.
They're basically in the same position as the Whitecaps. The one thing that Vegas has tons of is land because you can expand in any direction you want. But there's not a lot known about the son who is leading this bid. We know that he went to business school. He kicked tires in a few places here and there. But there's so much about this that just seems like it's mom's buying him a shiny new toy.
Yeah, we don't know anything about the guy. I don't think we even know what he looks like.
The
It just feels
information
like
on him is scant. If you want to look it up, all the information is about his mother, because his mother's the one who's holding the purse strings.
yeah, so yeah, Nepo baby again. And I
It's a
guess
it's a legitimate bid. Don't get me wrong. They've
yeah, it's
put their money where their mouth is. They've
pretty much
submitted it
yeah,
to
it's legit.
MLS because that's where the bid goes, and that's why people like Axel haven't seen it. They don't have a lot of information on it. If you want information on it, you got to get through MLS. But the fact that it's gone this far means that it's also, I'm assuming, gone through the process that was set out by Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is the company that the Whitecaps enlisted to basically handle the sale.
Yeah, the firm.
So it is legitimate, but there's still big questions about this, like glaring holes.
Yeah, and with Vegas just collecting sports teams like Infinity Stones, like an MLS team would be like bottom tier.
It does seem like the end of the world, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and um, like Vegas has a soccer stadium for the Las Vegas Lights, and it's like 8 to 10,000.
And they
the
don't
Las
even
Vegas,
sell that. They're lucky if they get 2,000 a game.
yeah, they average 2,000 a game.
They do, yeah.
So I don't know, like Vegas. When you think Vegas, you don't really think of pro sports. You think of gambling and entertainment. And because it's crazy, over a decade ago, they didn't have any sports teams. Now they're almost having like 4 or 5.
The one thing you have to remember about Vegas is in the United States, for the past decade, it's been one of the fastest growing cities in the country.
Yeah.
So it's becoming it's already a wildly diverse city, but it's growing even more so. And it's a very attractive place for people to put businesses there, to put sport franchises there because of that pace of growth. Now, before they had any professional sports team, before the Golden Knights, before you were talking baseball or NFL or any of that, they were looking or being looked at and being shopped around as a potential expansion place for MLS.
Seen as an expansion team for years.
Yeah, like way back then. So it's not like Vegas is new on anyone's radar. But when I see expansion and then I see Vegas, I start to think there's other, if this is the way it goes, there's other places out there that are more prepared for an MLS level team. And the thing is those areas that are more prepared because they have their own teams, they have the infrastructure in place, and they're ready to go. Specifically, Sacramento or Phoenix.
Yep.
So I do wonder. I mean, don't get me wrong. The money will talk and push anyone to the top of the pile easily. But like I said, there's so many questions about this. And then there's the other question we haven't even mentioned. This is, in all likelihood, Don Garber, the commissioner of MLS, his last year.
It is most likely, yeah.
The MLS has already started the process to look for his replacement.
Yeah.
So, what does he want to leave his legacy behind? Is he at the point where he's like, I don't care, let the owners cash in and get money, and I'll appease the owners, or do I want to, stand in the way of this and appease the fans? It depends on who he wants to have like him the most once he leaves.
Yes. So,
and with Garber, I got to be honest, I don't know what the answer to that is.
Me neither. And remember last week, his Twitter X account was compromised, calling David Eby liar, pants on fire. I don't know about that,
I know all the conspiracy theorists out there are saying it had to have been him. There's no chance. I'm like,
no, it could have been like an intern.
Not only that, but I mean, there's people that we know that were, when that went out, were at a dinner with him.
Yeah, He's not
So
the
not only that, but he doesn't respond to anything. Like he's one of those guys that I don't know. Do you ever see the show? Oh, it was an Aaron Sorkin show about news, and the head guy played by Jeff Bridges all of a sudden learns that he has a blog in his name. He didn't realize it had been written for years. It kind of seems like that, right? Like he
right.
like someone had to tell him probably. Oh, by the way, you have a Twitter account, and his first answer is, "I have a Twitter account."
Probably. Yeah. So, well, for what Axel also mentioned yesterday was BC Place is still the preferred option.
Which
Hastings
was
Park,
surprising to hear.
yeah, it's not surprising. Hastings Park is still like in play. There's still discussions with the city and First Nations groups and all that. But what's interesting is that he said a new stadium won't solve everything
Mm.
because the Whitecaps' biggest hurdle, according to him, is revenue. Current model obviously doesn't work. New revenue streams are required. You know, corporate sponsorships, other types of sponsorships, partnerships, naming rights. Um, he
He
has,
actually had a list from MLS of all the different sponsorship categories that teams can feasibly look into. There was, I want to say like 15 odd broad categories, and then those were broken down into subcategories, and there was 30 whatever about them, and that's what they're starting to look at when they got the legal company, and now they got what BLG on their shoulder. They went and got the
yep,
beer company. They went and got
there
like
you go.
they're starting to collect these like hockey cards a little bit, and we have started to see, since you said we need corporate people to listen, I think we've seen about 4 or 5 new official sponsors.
Yeah. I didn't get the chance to ask them this. He mentioned a few months ago that they need like 25 to 30 steps or whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like we're on step five, six in terms
maybe.
of what they need for revenue.
The
And
question that I had asked, because like you had said, we were only able to ask one question each just because of how many people were in the room. I asked him about if the model doesn't work. If it doesn't work right now, have you started to talk to the ownership groups at other MLS clubs, other people like you in your position as a CEO, and their model structures, and tried to figure out if it works there, what works in other places can you bring to BC? I mentioned specifically you've got the long-term private public deal that that Portland just signed, or not even signed, renewed for Providence Park.
yep,
That's a stadium on that's the city, right? But it's operated by the Timbers. You've got Lumen Field that's co-operated between the Sounders
Sounders and
and the
Seahawks.
Seahawks. Now, I get it. The Sounders are wanting to build their own stadium everywhere, but they want to build it so far out that you might as well call it Oregon. So we'll have wait
Yeah,
and see what happens with that. You have the law that was passed in Ohio. I think it was in the Ohio State legislature when the whole Save the Crew thing was going on, about the fact that you have to look at local investors first before you can even open up any sort of structure that looks beyond those state borders. There are other things that have happened in other jurisdictions. And my question to Axel was, have you started asking other people about that? And it was kind of a vague yes, that they're always talking. He the one thing he credited with MLS, and this is likely due to the franchise-based structure. Maybe it's like the one good thing you get out of a franchise-based structure is that there's more sharing of what works than
yep,
there is in a club structure.
that's
And
right.
it makes sense. It makes sense. So they are looking at other models around MLS. I mean, you got 29 other ones to choose from. They're not sitting on their hands and trying to figure this out by themselves. They realize this is a problem that is bigger than just them, and they are looking outward for solutions on how to help locally.
Yeah, and that's the priority. From what our understanding is that they're looking to find a local solution first. Ownership is committed to keeping the team in Vancouver. And hours after we talked to Axel, the BC Minister Jobs and Economic Growth, Ravi Kalon, spoke to the media and said that a local bid has pretty much is making its way through, then they're interested. They're sharing their due diligence. They seem serious, and we'll be sharing that publicly very soon. How soon we don't know.
I question. I don't know. Maybe I'm turning into a pessimist, but I question this. It seems
I do
really,
too.
really strange that this is coming from the BC government and it didn't come from the team or the league, because the BC government isn't involved in the bid and it's not who you submit the bid to. So why are they talking?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but there has been so much because of this issue, and because you've got a municipal election wrapped up into it, because you have a provincial government owner of the current stadium. It's been very difficult to cut through the noise of politics that are being involved in this. And the frustration is that a lot of people in politics, whether it's at the municipal level or the provincial level, are starting to kind of kick this around and use this as an opportunity for themselves. We've already seen it with the the Vancouver Liberals running municipally about, why are you not looking at Gastown again as a stadium? We've seen everything that Ken Sims done. We've seen now both political parties provincially and what they're doing. It's tough to figure out, what are you saying that's real, because there's so much that you were saying that literally what you guys are doing, you have no control over.
Yeah. It would be very terrible if Ravi Kalon just said this and it wasn't true.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
It would be politically irresponsible. But I mean, it also wouldn't be surprising.
Darren James says the Whitecaps knew 100% about the bid. Well, from what we were
They
told,
didn't know about Vegas.
yeah,
They
they
found
didn't know
about
about.
Vegas through MLS.
Yeah, from what I understand is that they know local groups have come forward. And could this
Yeah.
be one? But
Well, that's not only
I
that,
also,
but we've heard of multiple local potential bids, of at least two out there. And until they're actually bids, I don't put anything by it. Let me put it this way. Until it's been okayed by Goldman Sachs, it's not real.
okay, and also I don't want to get too excited yet until I hear from the Whitecaps, the league, or Goldman and Sachs, or a credible reporter like Tom Bogert say that this is happening.
Yeah, that's just it, right?
So just take it with a grain of salt. Does it give some hope? Sure, but it's just weird that it's coming from a minister, a BC minister of jobs and growth, not the team itself. Or maybe he was saying something he shouldn't say,
Well,
but
the thing is, we've also talked about that, because there is a bid out there, because it is that Z option that Axel was talking about. You are going to have others that feel that sense of urgency as well, that do have pockets.
Yep.
So hopefully they are putting something together. We do know of another group that was out there. It was an individual that was trying to put together money, a consortium of sorts to bid it, but it's that one seems to be dead in the water. It seems to be a bit more of a con play, because he was trying to get everyone's money into his pocket to make the bid without putting any money in himself. So yeah, because there's so many different things happening out there, I'm hedging my bets. I'm waiting until we get information, like you said, from a Tom Bogart, from Goldman Sachs, from the team or the league. But coming from anyone out of that, for me, it's still just speculation.
yeah,
I hope this is real. I hope this is real, but I'm not there yet.
yeah. I mean, given that it's a government official saying this, you would hope it's real. Because if it isn't, he
Hey,
loses
we
a
had
lot
the
of credibility.
co-founder of a media company saying that there was a bid coming, and that turned out to be BS. So
Yeah. We also learned that um, Axel Schuster has signed a contract extension. Not he didn't say for how long, but I guess that also is a very small glimmer of hope, and that current signings are not affected by potential future. Tristan Blackman signed a contract extension, and so did Andres Kubis recently. Got another comment from Darren. Their next move will be the Whitecaps saying the bid is not high enough. To me, it seems like the Caps are playing the same narrative, and I question of how motivated they are to sell the team locally?
I look, I know that there's a lot being saying about this ownership group right now. Um, I find it's a lot of people that don't remember what was going on in '04 or '05.
Yeah, or before that.
When the club was bought back then, there was a very similar position. Obviously, it wasn't at a higher level because we're not talking MLS at that point. But you did have a guy that came in and saved the club at that
That was
time.
Greg Kerfoot.
Um, with how entrenched he is, not only in Vancouver soccer, but BC and the country, the amount of money that he has given to Canada Soccer, like we talked last time, for camps for the females national team, the money that they're putting in to literally pay the paycheck of Jesse Marsh, the Rise, which
The
he
Rise
is like
owned by Greg Kerfoot.
99.99% owner of, that's not even a part of this, and then it's still going to continue. The academy programs, they're looking for a local bid. They're looking for a local bid. If they were not looking for a local bid first and just said, hey, it's a free for all, we would have heard about an owner way more than 18 months because other people would have thought it's feasible. We're starting to see ownership groups come in now because they're seeing blood in the water.
Yeah. I mean, it took 18 months for this level of desperation because, 30 groups signed an NDA, didn't like the financials, didn't see it as viable. Now that Vegas has come in, it's go time. It's Hail Mary time.
Yeah. As far as the bid not high enough, I mean, that could very well be true. That could very well be true. I don't know what the bid is. If it's a local bid, it makes you wonder how deep are their pockets compared to the Gustafsson bid. And what does that actually look like? We know the reported valuation of the club. Is that what they're looking for? Are they looking for a little bit less? Are they looking for as much as they can get? If you're local, does that allow maybe a local bid to maybe undercut a bid from anywhere else, and the ownership group would be okay with that? Those are questions we don't know. Those are questions we didn't have the ability to ask because, well, I mean, quite frankly, Axel wouldn't have those answers.
Yeah, no offense to Axel, but he really didn't say a whole lot.
Sure.
Because he does not want to negotiate in public. He's a guy that really keeps his cards close to his chest. And he said a lot of the same things that we already know. They need more revenue and all that. They need creative solutions, but unfortunately, we didn't get to ask specifically. Oh, we did, but he didn't really go into specifics. What does that look like? What specifically do you mean?
Other than sponsorships, or the fact that if you have your own stadium, you get to control more of the revenue streams coming into that. The thing is if you're building your own stadium, you need an owner that's going to be around for decades before you start making money, because stadiums are costly ventures. And if you are ideally looking to do this completely with private money, you basically, whatever you pay for the club, double that to do a stadium.
Yeah. No deadline from MLS, but obviously with the Vegas bid, they got
the deadline right now is still end of the year, because that's where the deal for the current kind of this bridge deal with BC Place goes. Now, obviously, they could extend that. Who knows how long? We already know BC Place is fine with doing that at what it is currently. Yeah. There's like you said, we didn't get a lot of information, a little bit of clarity, but there's still big unknowns.
Yeah. He pretty much said something. Jay Giano or Global said, "What's the blueprint?" He said, "We need more in each category. It's like match day revenue, sponsorships, and financials, and all that." And yeah, he is open to raising ticket prices, but that's not up to him.
Yeah, with a bit of a caveat on that one, it was Patrick Johnson of the province who asked, like, look, if it's just a matter of revenue, is that on the table? He said, I mean, it is one of those things that you can do. It's one of those that he doesn't want to do. They're not looking at doing that right now, because if the answer was just raise the ticket prices, sure, so problem solved. It doesn't solve the problem, so they're not doing it.
Yeah, he actually said he wants the games to be affordable.
Yeah, and they talked about that as well, as right now in terms of everyone's kind of sporting options within kind of say Vancouver, the Whitecaps are still an affordable option, right? You can say that, they might be on the ceiling there of affordability, but you're not paying to say take a family to go to the Canucks, and you have to blow over $500 or something like that.
Yeah,
you can still do it for much cheaper. Yeah, if they had all the sponsorship deals, they got a stadium deal, they got everything else, and the revenue does creep up to narrow that arbitrary 40 million gap between what they make right now and what other teams make that he mentioned back in November. Maybe the last hurdle is raising ticket prices, but right now that's not even being discussed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. No, we got more of the same. But we do know that talks are still happening. The MLS executive VP will be here in Vancouver next week. Schuster has talked to city officials, First Nations officials, even provincial officials, even people who want to help in, potential local bidders. So stuff is happening behind the scenes, but time's ticking. That's the thing.
Yeah. The other thing we should mention is that for everyone who wants ownership to speak, like one of the four heads, I mean, Axel kind of poured water on that right away. He said, basically,
not what they do.
And give or take that, but he basically said it's like you would get the same information, just a different head saying it, which is true. I think the one thing I think that might be lost in this is that even if it is the same information said by someone different, it's the weight of who is saying it.
Exactly.
And if you have it coming from an owner or one of the ownership groups, the individual carrying the message might hold a little bit more gravitas. Not to say Axel Schuster as CEO and sporting director doesn't hold a lot. He does. And he has been the spokesperson for this club on the business side ever since he started back in, 2020?
Yep.
But this is one of those moments where you might want to pull out a bigger hitter.
Yeah, especially a crisis situation like this. You want to hear from the owner.
And I get it. It would probably be absolutely no different information. But
it carries more weight. Like if
it's
Jeff Malin here,
right?
If he spoke out yesterday, it would carry a lot more weight.
It would.
Yeah, and forget Greg Kerfoot saying anything. It's not happening.
Greg Kerfoot's photo on, I don't know, Wikipedia or his biography is just a silhouette. I'm sorry, but that guy will never speak.
If you search
don't even look for it.
If you search Greg Kerfoot on Google Images, you get a picture of Matt Sakaris. Sakaris and Price.
Yeah, totally right.
So, yeah, don't even.
Okay.
All right, let's move over. Other Canadian teams in the Canadian Championship. A big upset early. Toronto FC lose 3-1 to Atletico Ottawa, and a big story is that the fans were crashing out on the players, just yelling at them. I mean, I get the anger and all that, and I don't like the way Robin Fraser set up this team. It didn't feel like Toronto FC were really in the game, but most of these guys were like reserve/TFC2 players.
They got the first goal.
They did, but other than that,
like they were gonna hold on to it, but I mean, Ottawa came alive in the second.
Yeah, they just fell apart defensively, Toronto.
Yeah.
And TFC, let's not forget, are hit hard with injuries.
They are, but I mean, I thought TFC, they felt like they were maybe turning a bit of a small corner. Yeah. Now, the one thing this does is it blows this competition wide open in terms of who is going to be a finalist, arguably against the Whitecaps. I mean, let's say like anything can happen, but right now the Whitecaps are the best team in this tournament. They've won the last 4 in a row. The team hasn't really changed from that. It kind of feels like one of those things that you just check the box off every season. Who they're going to face could be anyone now. I don't put any stock in Montreal. Sorry, CF Montreal. Let's separate the two clubs now. But they got ahead of Calgary, the Calgary Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard. Yeah,
let's say that of the Alberta League One, right? But that doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
It doesn't mean a whole lot anyway.
Yeah, I mean that should be the expectation, just like should have been the expectation that Toronto gets over Ottawa. But Ottawa is a fantastic team. They showed that last year.
Yeah, Blue tableau with the hat trick against Toronto.
Yeah,
it feels. I guess TFC fans are feeling what Whitecaps fans felt a few years ago when Pacific were knocked out the Whitecaps.
Yeah,
in Canada Champ. Like even though they had injuries, even though it's their second team, it can't happen. And Toronto was at home too.
Yeah, the one thing is good on the CPL.
Yep.
I mean, these are the upsets that happen in competitions in every country around the world that we kind of love to see. It makes it interesting that you have these where multiple leagues are competing. We have right now 3 different levels that can compete in the Canadian Championship, and it's fantastic. So watch Ottawa. I mean, Ottawa definitely could be one of those teams that makes it to the final. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I get the anger TFC fans feel, but and I sure the players weren't good enough, but it all comes down to management and coaching. And again, we don't know how long Robin Fraser lasts this season.
Well, that's a big question. I think that there's other people ahead of him in terms of the sack list, but he's out there. Now when you talk about injuries, you are right. Right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full out injuries.
Yeah,
in that injury list, you have players like Mihalovic, Larea, Corbeau, Cifuentes, and then you've got Josh Sargent, who's a 10th at questionable. So there are big names out on this team right now. It is true.
And this, for MLS teams, this competition gets to show off your depth. The Whitecaps have showed that off the last few years, why they won that whole thing. But TFC just lacked the depth.
Yeah.
So
we're basically 1 year in to their ownership remembering they have a team, and we saw that when they brought in Mihalovic
and Sargent.
Yeah, they still got a long way to go. They haven't solved their defensive issues at all. I mean, they brought in, what was it, Zimmerman, right?
Yeah, man.
But I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. If you brought in Zimmerman 5 years ago, I was
that would have been a massive steal.
But yeah.
Back to Vancouver with the other Vancouver team. Not a good start to the season.
No.
Same scoreline the last 2 games. 4-0 loss in Montreal, 4-0 loss in Ottawa. Both offensive and defensively, the Rise have problems.
What this showed is that opening match of 3-2 at where they lost at Swangard, was gracious. We talked about the lack of wing play in this team, and the one thing I'm hearing, especially when they were playing Montreal, is how well Lisa Pechurski has fit into that Montreal squad. And by that same thinking, I'm thinking of how sorely someone like her is missed. With Rise.
Pechurski got the first assist on the first Montreal goal.
Yeah.
There's a kick in the teeth.
We've already talked about the problems with the back line and injuries. Faulkner, Wooler, Yuka Serra has already played multiple positions, and she's literally only played 3 games for this team. She's been a center back. She's been a right back. Who knows? Next time she might start off in striker for all I know. But there were a number of players that left in the offseason, but there were 3 big important key players: Samantha Chang, Lisa Pechurski, Jasmine Spencer.
Yeah, they were very important in Hollywood as well.
I know Reyes has looked decent, but she's really only getting 45 minutes a game right now. She was taken off early again. Mia Pante, we haven't really seen much of, although we've heard a lot about her, that she's supposed to be phenomenal when she finally plays. And I like the Saga. but I don't think they figured out how to best utilize her yet. I don't know if she is that right back option. I really hope she is, because as I've been saying for over a year, I don't rate right, uh, right the player, not just the word.
Yeah,
But I don't see her as that option. Okamoto, I think they found a stable option on the left,
that's on the left, but the right needs
but
a
the right,
ten.
you lost Jasmine Spencer, and especially for the first half of this season, Jasmine Spencer was basically playing that entire back line by herself. It felt like at times.
Yeah, last year, but yeah, the rise of a lot of
Yeah,
props. And sure, it's championship hangover, but they lost so many key players in the off season, and right now, players that they have just need to step up.
yeah, yeah. They do. I know that they're really trying to bleed in some of their depth players from last year. You're seeing a lot more from Anna Bout
Yeah,
playing in.
got some new signings as well, but
Again,
they have speed.
they're playing her more wide, and I don't know if that's the kind of player she is. She's more a central player.
Yeah,
Um, they've already tried a few different options. I think they were back to a 4-4-2 in the last game, but they started with a 4-3-3, arguably, or a 4-3-2-1, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
Um, they have really good attacking options. They just can't get them the ball.
that's just it.
Yeah.
The final third has been a problem.
Well, the whole pitch has been a
The
problem.
whole pitch, yeah, but just seeing the rises. Next game will be this Saturday from Halifax, take on
Yeah.
the Tides, and then the week after they're back home to take on AFC Toronto.
And Toronto is basically who they opened with. So, I mean, if you're going to go almost full circle in this league and you still haven't bagged a win yet, I am curious if there are already rumblings in the club.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, yeah,
But it's only been 3 games. But if this continues,
the thing
it
is
will grow.
I think you're right that there are rumblings in this club, but I am willing to bet they're misdirected, because I don't necessarily think that they should be directed at Anya Heiner-Moller.
Not yet.
I think, if anything, they should be at the sporting director, Stephanie
Yeah,
Lavitt.
yeah. Well, obviously,
Because
wins can change things, and
what?
the Rise
Yeah,
have a chance to get their first win this weekend.
yeah. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. I'll be at the game on the 23rd, so hopefully they can also win game as well. And yeah, we mentioned the FIFA Congress. We were there last week. Good experience. Tedious,
Interesting in a way.
interesting, yeah. Just surreal to see Infantino and Arsene Wenger in person. Um, you know, a lot of like a lot of talk of okay, we're hosting the world. This is happening. Obviously, Iran was not there due to their kerfuffle at the Toronto airport. But Infantino did confirm that Iran will play at the World Cup and will play their games in the States. And Wenger
And he
talked
will
about,
hand deliver hot dogs, apparently.
yeah, Wenger talked about the development of the game. They all talked about, player development, FIFA new training centers and all that. But nothing really too wow, this was something. But there,
I mean, it's an AGM. It's the world's biggest strata meeting. That's basically what this is, right? It's a whole bunch of speeches, followed by the financials, followed by open the floor to anyone else's concerns, followed by so long and good night.
Well, I skipped all the financial stuff because I wanted to eat food, and I talked with Alexandre Gange-Ruzic. But the thing that really had people wow, look at what was that? Was after both representatives of the Palestinian FA and the Israeli FA spoke, Gianni Infantino thought it'd be a great idea to have them shake hands and take a photo together. And of course, the Palestinian representative was not happy about that for obvious reasons. Was pretty much upset with Infantino, and he refused the photo op and to shake hands and just walked off the stage.
You want to see about 1,600 delegates, a room full of media, and all the VPs of FIFA go bone quiet where all you're hearing in the convention center is this one guy just yelling at Infantino.
Yeah.
Check out the video. It's out there. There's a lot of video out there, and it goes on for
It was
almost
so
5
awkward
minutes.
seeing that in person.
Oh, that was yeah.
He did speak to the media after the game, and he said, like, why should I shake hands with someone who's killing our people and all that represents like ethnic cleansing? Infantino doesn't know better, and all that. It's awkward too. Like, two countries that have so much tension, you get the representatives to be like, "Hey, shake hands, all's good, world peace, man. Make love, not war." That's just
Infantino
out of touch.
Yeah, I think it's nice to say it's undercutting it to say that he's tone deaf.
Yeah.
And whatever side you fall on, whatever you think about this, let's be honest, this conflict goes vastly beyond football. So let's not even get to that here. That's not the purview of what this podcast is about.
Yeah, we're not.
But it's something that could have been very easily avoided by just not going off script.
Yeah, it felt very off script too.
It was. And a lot of people, like that ended up being one of the key questions that media were asking afterwards was there actually supposed to be a handshake? Like, was this planned? To which no one in their right mind is ever going to answer that, because first off, you don't want to upset the king. Yeah, it was poorly planned. And again, we can speak to Infantino's tone deafness, where he used his closing remarks for the Congress to basically showcase his bid for running for FIFA president,
which
when that happens at the next Congress, which will be held in Rabat,
Morocco.
Yeah,
but imagine getting it felt like imagine getting a Russian and a Ukrainian representative do that, or a Croatian Serbian. Not all cultures and countries like each other. You can't expect people to just shake hands and sing kumbaya.
Yeah,
that's not how the world works. Yeah, football unites.
It's also it's the wrong forum for that. Your purview is sport. Stick to sport. And don't get me wrong, I know FIFA extends much further than that and all the initiatives they have, but let that just be goodwill, right?
I mean, yeah, good intention, but wrong time, wrong people.
Oh, it's one of those. Also, but let's put it this way: were you surprised that he tried?
No.
No.
I'm surprised he didn't say something like, "Today I feel Canadian" in his open remarks.
Oh, he said something like that before.
Today I feel gay.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, you're right. He did say something like that before.
Now it's a huge meme.
He's very much make himself the most important person in whatever discussion is happening. And I you know what, that can be a consequence of position. Chances are, in many cases, he is. But just sometimes you just need to learn to shut up. Just because you have the freedom of speech doesn't mean you have to use it.
I mean, yeah, I support your right to be an idiot, but doesn't mean you're right to be an idiot has consequences.
So Europe's looking pretty good right now. I'm just saying.
Why bother anymore with Chelsea Football Club? It's not even Chelsea Football Club. It's London Blue Lions Soccer Club. That's what it is now. Might as well just change the logo. I don't know. Make the lion look more cool. Give him an American flag with dollar signs, and just write London Blue Lions Soccer Club.
I thought that was the American flag. It's not stars on the thing. It's dollar signs, right?
Yeah. 3-1 loss at Nottingham Forest. Thiago Silva was in attendance. He looked very disgusted. Thomas Tuchel was there too. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Two representatives of the old Chelsea regime and how great Chelsea were. They could not believe it either. I'm not going to talk about the game too much. 2 minutes in, Iwani gets a header. 10 minutes later, I don't know what Gusto was thinking. Pulls the Nottingham Forest player's shirt. Anthony Taylor went to VAR because it wasn't initially called, but that's what VAR is for.
Yeah.
And they got it right. You can't pull a guy's shirt like that. Igor Jesus scores the penalty. Cole Palmer had a chance to end the goal drought. but he's melted. I don't
How
know
long
even
has
know if
it
he will
been
see it
now?
this summer.
It's been a long time since he scored.
I think since January.
Jeez, I was gonna say like 10 matches or something like that.
Not a good penalty at all.
No.
Right at Sells. He went for placement, but Sells saw it all the way. And then on the transition he won, he gets the third goal. I don't know why Kellen McFarland played Tosin instead of Uriel Hato, who's been solid when he's played. And instead he just, you know what, let's play Tosin because it worked it against Leeds. Uh,
This
Enzo
basically
Fernandez,
means that Chelsea, they're basically out of Champions League for next year.
I
There's
don't
no
think
way
we're
they
making
can get
even the
back up, right?
Conference League at this rate.
Yeah.
And it's reported that players will lose 30,000 to 40,000 pounds a week if they miss out on Champions League. And Reece James even took a pay cut on his new contract extension he signed to stay.
Wow.
I mean, he's the guy's loyal to a T, but applaud to him.
So he's
Levi
the
Cole will return for a quick cameo. Good to see him back. Oh yeah, João Pedro scored probably the best consolation goal you'll ever see. Bicycle kick. Fortunately, not much to celebrate. And he took accountability, saying we the players need to be better, and that includes him.
Yeah.
Good on him. He's been linked to Barcelona because, of course, but he's someone. João Pedro is someone you build around, someone that is the foundation. But unfortunately, Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, and the Blue Co crew are probably going to surround Palmer, Pedro, and the rest with more under 18, under 21 kids from Brazil. Because that's the way it's always.
If you can find great ones, awesome. But you also still have to build a team.
Yeah. Fans were disgusted. They left like at halftime. I would too. Like why? What's the point anymore? Same old, same old. But Chelsea play Liverpool away. Battle of the bad teams, want to call it. We'll see how that goes. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends 0-0.
Yeah.
But other than that, like same old Chelsea. The project has failed. Bluco out.
The funny thing is, though, you guys could still have a trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah. I don't know, like my chances with that one, but you never know. Because Man City are the opponent. Bluco out unless they win a Champions League and or a Premier League. It's Bluco out all the way. So not much has changed from the Chelsea manager update. Yesterday, it seemed they reached out to Xavi Hernandez, who's been out of a job since he got fired by Barcelona. But then an hour later, reports say no, that's not happening. Chelsea, not interested.
Alonso's still the number one, isn't he?
Yeah, and reports out of Milan saying that it seems Alonso's on his way to Chelsea. Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to trust a source like that. And
I mean, the one thing with Alonso is he's basically moving from the Lions Den into an even larger, or at least similar Lions Den. Like
instead of
Real Madrid is a tough place to be a manager. Chelsea is a tough place to be a manager. It's just one place you're dealing with the players, the other place you're dealing with ownership.
Yeah. Reports say he wants the job. He's interested. He's just willing to coach anywhere.
I get that. Yeah.
I mean, fine. If you were interested, cool. But reports are now saying, the PR briefs say that the new manager will have control, full control. Why did you give that to Maresca last summer?
Get that in writing and then, looked over by a lawyer first.
I don't trust.
Because I don't know if Bluco is capable of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know why you had a manager that won you trophies last year, had a system that the players loved, and then you forced them out because ego. And pretty much the locker room is divided now. 6 straight losses for the first time since 1993. Not surprised. Maresca's departure pretty much blew everything up. So, honestly, I would have loved Xavi because of his football. Disciple of Pep. Possession-based. tiki-taka hybrid. But Xabi Alonso seems to be the front runner. Andrani Ariola is reportedly in talks to become the next Crystal Palace manager, so he's probably out of the running. And then there's Marco Silva. Just no. Given how bad Fulham were against Arsenal, no.
It's got to be Alonso or Ariola. At least right now it feels, unless you guys wait for World Cup. But at that point, that's a long time to wait.
They want to take their time, but it seems like they'll announce their manager before the World Cup.
You'd have to. You need a guy to start building before.
And honestly, I don't know why Chelsea are not more keen on Xavi Hernandez. He's came into a tough situation in Barcelona with all their financial stuff.
Yeah.
Handled youth players, built a cohesive squad, and won them a league title.
Yeah.
I don't know why
he's a good option.
Why he's not more looked at by Chelsea. So there's that. And fans are planning another protest before the FA Cup final against Man City at Wembley and on May 19th against Spurs, where at the 22nd minute, which represents the year Bluecoat took over, 2022, fans are encouraged to stand up, turn their backs away from the pitch, and chant, "We want our Chelsea back." If it were up to me, at that minute, I would have left at the 20th minute, go out in the concourse for 22 minutes. Make it more symbolic.
That would be something, yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Leave the stadium empty for the last half of that first half.
Yeah, exactly. So Chelsea are in shambles, but at least Tottenham, there's a chance that you guys survive. But
2-1 win against Aston Villa. They've now won the last two, undefeated in 3. I'm sorry, but we're coming for all your trophies. Yeah, it's all blue skies now. Like it's funny how low the bar has been set, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling
surviving would feel like a trophy.
This was a game that I was worried about because Aston Villa is a very good team. They have a very good manager. I think they're just well organized, but they didn't show up. And don't get me wrong, for Tottenham was great. The high press.
Villa were terrible.
We didn't give Villa a chance on the ball. The first goal was basically a turnover to which Gallagher from distance, I don't know, 20, 25 yards out, just a low shot that I don't think the goalkeeper saw it until the very end. But it was just one of the best shots. It was Gallagher's first goal, but I thought Gallagher did a lot more in that game. He was pivotal in that high press, covering the midfield, allowing players like Richarlison to float around and get the space that he needed. Richarlison, again, this guy is kind of the beating heart of the team in terms of just how much he cares. Even during like the whole period from Christmas on, he kind of seemed like the only player that really truly cared throughout all of that. And he got rewarded with an effort. Matistel with a great ball over, headed in by Richarlison. I was really happy to see that for him. They couldn't hold on for the clean sheet. Unfortunately, 4 minutes of extra time. The ref allowed 6 plus change. I don't know why. There was no stoppages, but they ended up getting a goal past Kinski to ruin the clean sheet, but they did get the win, and that's what's important. This now moves Tottenham out of the relegation zone by 1 point over West Ham, who lost their match quite emphatically too. I think it was a 3-0 loss on the weekend.
Yeah,
but there's still 3 matches to play. So I'm not counting my chickens before they're hatched. But De Zerbi's got this team playing. They look organized. They look like they care. They look like they're having fun again. And it's entertaining again. That high press was beautiful to watch. Also, seeing other players that seem to be revitalized under this. Jet Spence is looking really, really nice on the wing. Matistel, who got the assist that I mentioned on Richarlison's goal, he's looking pretty nice too. Paulinho, we always knew that he was gonna have it and kind of do what he did. He's kind of kept it up and is thriving underneath this system as well. Obviously, there's players I would like to see on what they could have done with De Zerbi. Mohamed Kudus, unfortunately, injured. We still
Injured a
haven't
lot.
seen Madison come off the bench yet, but I mean, I can understand that. If it's working, it's working. So just hold on. Leeds is next. Another, a tough test, especially at this point in the season. Spurs can't afford to drop, and you got to wonder that if they win this match, that could be safety assured, not guaranteed, but assured. Because I think, if I remember right, West Ham have a more difficult run in towards
West
the
Ham play
end
Arsenal.
of the season. They still have to play Arsenal.
And Arsenal could actually win the Premier League.
Yeah, and Newcastle, I don't know, they're having their own issues right now, but yeah, that could be what makes the difference for them right now. Interesting comments that came out, a bit of a Canadian connection to this with Jesse Marsh. Jesse Marsh was on a podcast where he branded De Zerbi an asshole.
Well, yeah, he pretty
much.
This
goes back to when De Zerbi was coaching Marseille.
Yep.
And the whole issue with Ismail Kone, where it was caught on video of, the fight they had. Kone basically sent to, what was it, Sassuolo?
And he's driving
and all of a sudden started to thrive. Basically got out under the thumb of De Zerbi and started to do really, really well. So, yeah, I get it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Remember that video
it was very, very poor on De Zerbi. I hope he learned a lesson. We'll have to wait and see. But it was funny.
Yeah, we just went after Kone and they were arguing. He pretty much told Kone, go call your agent. Go call your agent.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
right?
Kone just left the club after that.
Team. Has the wind changed on Van de Ven? Van de Ven looked to have one foot out, and that second foot was somewhere in Spain, most likely with Real Madrid. But he seems to have found a new sense of purpose under De Zerbi. And there's rumors that if they do avoid the drop and stay in the Premier League, that he is in a more willing place to re-sign. We'll have to wait to see if that is anything. But again, the rumblings of that seem good. We'll have to wait and see. There also looks like they're going to be fighting with, I believe it's Liverpool that they're also is looking at this player, Andrea Cambiaso out of Juventus, fullback option. There's rumors that it could be difficult with the Andy Richardson, who is got options in Spain where he could go. So they are looking at other options as well. And it does look like Cambiaso's time with Juventus is done. It just hasn't really gone all that well there. He is looking at other places. There was rumors that Tottenham was looking out of Rangers as well for one of their fullbacks. I can't remember the name, but this is like a 35-year-old. Again, it kind of seems surprising. Cambiaso kind of seems to be the one who is more likely. Other than that, the only other guy I want to talk about is Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore, who was out at Rangers this whole season on loan. He just won the Scottish PFA Young Player of the Year award. Rangers really want to keep him. Celtic want to poach him. Tottenham, obviously, don't want to let him go. Again, it kind of shows the youth that Tottenham has waiting in the wings. Luka Vaskevich in the Bundesliga, and I think he won the Young Player of the Year award over there, and what he was doing as a center back, and how teams in Germany are trying to keep him. Next year could be interesting. First, forget about next year. Worry about staying in the Premier League. That job is not done. You have some breathing room. Great. Don't let it slip out of your hands. Do not let this slip out of your hands. But if they can keep that, the youth core that is underneath and waiting in the wings looks very, very promising.
Yeah, a lot of
Leeds next. That game will be on Monday, actually. It's the late game. So Tottenham gets to see what happens with West Ham, with Nottingham Forest, and, whether or not they need to fight for their lives, or if they realize that a win would give them even more breathing room.
Survival would feel like a trophy.
Yes. At this point, yes.
And a few things here. What's this about the Dutch Eredivisie about to replay 130 matches, but not yet?
Oh, so this has been interesting if anyone's been following this. So we all know that leagues have roster rules of you have to have so many U21 players, or you're only allowed so many players that have foreign nationality and all this stuff. So there was a game being played, and it was a NAC Breda were playing Go Ahead Eagles. And there was a player on Go Ahead who is Dutch born, but has recently signed allegiance to play for the Indonesian national men's team. Fine, you can do that.
Yep.
The problem is Netherlands does not recognize dual citizenship. So by their rules, you are now no longer a citizen of Netherlands. You are now an Indonesian citizen, which put Go Ahead Eagles a player above their foreign player requirements. Breda complained about this, saying that the match that they lost, a 6-0 loss, should be contested because they fielded an ineligible player. To which a judge said, "Yep, you're right." Well, then the league stepped up, the Eredivisie said, "Well, there's 11 or so other players and other teams that this now affects." To which the judge says, "Okay, you got to play all those games again," which led to that being about 130 matches, which meant that this entire season could have been just dead. Now, a court has basically dismissed the legal challenge now, saying, no, that's stupid. We can't do this. That would be chaos. So they're basically just saying you're going to have to watch yourself from here on forward. However, Ajax and another one of the top clubs, I want to say, I can't remember who it was, Feyenoord or PSV, but one of the other ones have reserved their right, as they have said it, to make further challenges. We'll have to wait and see exactly what that means, but it's kind of funny that you can declare for up to anyone that goes I think up to your grandparents in terms of what country you want to play for, but the fact that countries are using this as actually declarations of citizenship is kind of stupid.
Yeah, weird. Anyway, one last thing here. The Champions League final is now set. PSG in the final for the second straight year after beating Bayern Munich. Not as exciting as the first leg, but PSG got the job done. Controversial handball there, though. And Arsenal, who did their Harambo thing against Atletico Madrid. And they're in the final first time in 20 years.
Go PSG. Exactly. I think PSG is not the team of egos anymore. PSG is well-oiled. Was it Lewis
well-oiled machine?
I think, and you look at who they have in their arsenal. No pun intended. Such contrasting styles. I would like to see PSG open up this game. Obviously, Arsenal is going to try and shut it down. If PSG gets that first goal, this game blows open.
And if Arsenal get that first goal, they're hunkering down.
If Arsenal gets that first goal, go make a sandwich, go for a walk, because you'll come back and
play terrible.
Yeah.
So go PSG. I think it'll be closer than expected with Arsenal's structure and defensive stuff.
And if I remember right, this game is taking place for the final is in Budapest.
Budapest, yeah.
Yeah.
And PSG, that front three, Doué, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. Oh, man, Kvaratskhelia, watching him take on that Bayern defenders, what a player.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, he arguably is the best winger in the world with someone like Michael Olise.
Yeah.
Who disappeared the second leg. I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1.
One game sample size. I can throw Mattis Tell in that now as well.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1. PSG.
Yeah.
Given Arsenal's defensive capabilities, they're going to try to go Harambo, while PSG will do their free-flowing, fast transition football.
If PSG gets an early jump, this game could get out of hand.
Yeah,
but
it could possibly be a repeat of last year's final.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, but wow, This game could be very, very boring or very, very entertaining. I have no idea which. It's a coin flip.
Yeah. That's on May 30th, I believe. Yeah, 30th.
Yeah.
In Budapest. So, obviously, everyone in the Premier League will be cheering for PSG.
Pretty
because
much.
Arsenal winning both the league and Champions League, we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, it would be insufferable. Let's keep them out of Europe.
Yeah. So that concludes this week's episode. Hope you're enjoying it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. For those listening on the podcast feed, this will be out later. Apologize. I have stuff to do. For those watching, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, podcast Terminal City FC, Nathan and Durek. Check out all our articles for Area 51 Sports Network. We'll be back next week, hopefully talking about more positive Whitecaps news, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking more about the off-pitch stuff than the actual football over the past few weeks. Well, hopefully we'll get some positive developments soon.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on soon, but at some point.
At some point. But I'm not holding my breath on what the minister said yesterday, but
yeah,
we'll see. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.